Hi friends, your mentor Shashank Gupta on the platform of iQuanta, and we are out here to speak about critical reasoning. One of the most important and dangerous part of CLAT, right? That is what is said always. Fine. But my work out here would be to try and make it simpler, right? So let's try this out first instead of talking about what is what is not. Okay, let's just come across and let's see how it goes about. Fine. What is the major problem that you are going to face when you are going to go across and try those critical reasoning questions, right? The first one, it's just a small passage I have given across. It was early Thursday morning. The maids were working in the kitchen. The day was windy. A rooster laid an egg on the thatched roof, indented at 60 degrees on both sides. The egg was a golden one. Everyone rushed to get it. Fine. So everyone has understood what is the paragraph about. It's not very difficult, right? So we read about, and then there was the question that came across. Which would be the right assumption as per the above paragraph? So they are talking about what is your assumption, what do you understand, okay? What things can you deduce or you can assume from here? A part. The egg rolled as per the wind. Yeah, definitely. That's a logical thing. Why? It's an egg and it was windy, as it says, right? So the egg can actually roll about here and there because of the wind. Okay, I'll take that. The egg fell and broke. Even this is right. I can assume this, right? Why? Because it's an egg, and if it falls, definitely it breaks, right? So this is also working. The egg was not found as it got lost in the thatch. Was there thatch? Yes, there was thatch. What is thatch? Thatch is like dry leaves and grasses and all that. So what happens is the egg, it somehow got lost in that. Even that is correct. Why not? It can definitely happen, right? It is a small egg after all, right? Not an ostrich egg. Okay. Next, none of the assumptions can be drawn. So they say like whatever you have thought till now is actually wrong. But how is that possible? I could actually make out that it can actually roll, it can actually fall and break, it can actually get lost, right? Then I think so D should not be the right answer. Why is that? Right? Okay. So let's move and let's see. Is it my right answer? What? Oh, can you see it? So, critical reasoning starts from here. That is, when you read something, you understand there are certain scopes, there are certain keywords out there which you read, which you have to understand, and you have to remember it, you have to recall it, because the answer has to revolve around that. Why is it that they say that none of the assumptions can be drawn? Because all the above, they have not been given any kind of thought process in the paragraph. It was you who was thinking about it, not the paragraph. It was not making you think about this. Rather, it was asking you to logically read the paragraph, and the logic says that it was a rooster, not a hen, which means it's a male version, right? So if it is the male version, then in that case, what? How would it lay an egg? I know. Still, there would be people out here who would actually think, sir, this is possible. Science is growing. Science has reached places. No, sir. We are not going to go towards that, right? My simple task out here is to mentor you to crack the critical reasoning part, right? And for that, your scope, your focus should be totally on the given thought process and not what you think. Okay? Cool. So the answer out here will be D, as roosters don't lay eggs. Let's move on. So what are the common challenges you would actually face when you go about doing critical reasoning? Okay? It's a vast subject, vast, right? And more than that, more than being vast, it can change its version throughout, right? Let's see, what are the common challenges? The first one is tricky wording. Whatever is written, it is quite tricky, very difficult to catch. Next is logical fallacies. Logical fallacies means some kind of flaw is there, right? Some logical problem is there which we need to catch hold of. The time pressure. Now this is, of course, this is a big challenge, because when you have a CLAT paper would have so many RCs out there, you have to go through them, and they are quite lengthy. They are quite lengthy. And after that, you sit across and you try to do this. It's actually a stress, right? Next part, misinterpretation. You are reading something, you have read something, but you have actually misinterpreted whatever was written out there. What would happen in that case? Of course, if you have not understood the thing, the answers automatically would be gone, right? The answers would be going across with your assumption of the paragraph and not what the author was trying to tell us, right? What the fact was given across to us, it would not play any role in your answers, and that's why you would actually eliminate the wrong options. Fine. So let's see. The first one, let's come across with tricky wording. What does that mean? Let's have a sentence. It says, no student who fails the test studies hard. No student who fails the test studies hard. So all those people who have actually failed, that is for sure that they have not studied hard. Next says, some students who study hard do not pass. So there are some students who studied hard, fine, do not pass. So it's a generic thought process, okay, not that these one, okay. Which of the following must be true out of these? Let's read the first one. All students who fail the test do not study hard. No student who fails is almost like all students, right? All students who fail the test do not study hard. This is actually going across with the first statement, right? Okay, I'll take that. Some students who fail the test studied hard. Some students who fail the test, okay, studied hard. So they failed the test and they studied hard. The syntax is not matching out here. Next part, no students who study hard fail the test. The story was about those people who study hard and don't study hard, and those people who fail, right? No students who study hard fail the test. Now this is something that you are deducing on your own, not mentioned out here. It's not said that any student who would study hard will not fail or fail, right? Next, all students who pass studied hard. So in some way, can you see, like, these words are getting so repetitive, and it is actually, it is some kind of mind-boggling thought process is happening out here. We really don't understand what is happening. All students who pass studied hard. Oh God. Now this is like very difficult, right? We really don't understand which one to go about with, okay? But if you just stick to the statements given across to you, the passage given across to you, then it works for you as easy as that. How? Let's move in. The only answer that works out here is the A part. Why is it the A part that works for me? The right answer is A, as it is restating the first sentence. So it is the first statement that is being stated out here, and that makes it easy to understand, to catch hold of. Understood? Right. Next part. Logical fallacies. As I said, some kind of flaw should be there. Two statements are given across. I'll just give you seconds to read it with me and just think of whatever is coming to your mind, right? Statement one, that is like just a statement. Every time I wear my lucky socks, my team wins. My socks must be lucky, fine. Why? Because I wear my lucky socks, I call them as lucky socks, and my team wins. So the deduction I'm coming across to is that my socks must be lucky, okay? What about this one, second one? Minister one says, we should increase funding for education, fine. So we need funding for education. Minister 2 says, so you are saying we should cut all defense spending. So we should remove all the spending on defense, okay? If I go through as a layman, these are nothing but normal sentences, right? Random sentences coming in front of me, and I look at them and I simply think, okay, fine. What? They're just sentences, right? I can make it out what it is talking about. But do we think the way you're supposed to? Let's see. What was it that I wanted to think? I wore my lucky socks, my team won, my socks must be lucky. It can't be logically correlated. There is no logic behind it that I would wear my lucky socks and every time I'm going to win, right? Or for that matters, socks are lucky for me. Or this socks, this pair of socks is actually lucky for me. No, nothing like that. As it can be a coincidence. It is just a coincidence that every time I wear this socks, I actually win. Yeah? So what about the rest of the days? Maybe the rest of the days you might be wearing some other socks and you might be winning in that point as well, right? So we really don't know. Fine? So not complete for us. So it is just a coincidence. We cannot have this as a point of elimination. I cannot use it as a point on which I can make eliminations, right? Next part. Minister 1 says we should increase funding for education. Minister 2 says, so you are saying we should cut all defense spending. Of course, just try to understand, he was actually talking about education. When did he say that we are going to pinch all the money from the defense spending and we are going to put it into the education, right? So which means Minister 2 has just misinterpreted what has been said by Minister 1. Clearly, Minister 2 misinterpreted Minister 1's statement. Understood? This is the subtlety of thoughts that I want from you people, right? And this is what is needed to go across with CLAT questions, okay? Let's see about misinterpretation. A statement is given across. Most people who exercise regularly are healthy. Okay? Remember, there is a very, very important word out here, and the word is most. Okay? So, you need to understand when I talk about most does not mean I'm talking about everyone. Okay? So, keeping that in mind, go across. Which of the following is a valid conclusion? It says, if you exercise, you will be healthy. Now, this is not a conclusion, right? This is actually not a conclusion. It's almost like a basic statement, right? B, some unhealthy people do not exercise. Some unhealthy people do not exercise. Can I keep it? Okay, let's see. Maybe it makes a point. People who don't exercise are unhealthy. But people who don't exercise are unhealthy. Can this be my answer? So every time you must be seeing what is the problem, right? Because that's what I'm trying to do out here. That is what I'm trying to prove to you, that every time you read a line, somehow your mind is actually trying to bend it towards the passage or the statement. And then you try to relate it, and that's why it becomes confusing. So clarity of thought is very important, right? D part says, all healthy people exercise. Now this is something, D part, I can directly, simply remove. Why? As I said, it was written most people, right? When I say most people, does not mean that all healthy people. Fine? There might be some people who are not exercising at all, and that's why they are what? And they are still healthy. Fine? So automatically, I think so, you could actually eliminate another option of this, right? Let's see. So what is it? Because D was wrong, automatically if you look at the C part, people who don't exercise are unhealthy. This also cannot work, right? Why? Because there might be some people who are not exercising at all and still they are healthy. So that's why C is not the answer. A was automatically removed because it was not conclusive, and that's why B part is my right answer. Some unhealthy people do not exercise. If you look at it, it is just an extension to the idea which was there. Most people who exercise regularly are healthy. Some unhealthy people do not exercise. As easy as that. Fine. So, keeping all this in mind, we need to understand what are these tricks, these tricksters who are always hindering in our path to find the right answer when we are hitting across on critical reasoning. The first thing, oh, it's our mind itself. right? What happens? We are distracted. We are not doing any kind of focused reading. We are distracted, we are exhausted, we are thinking about different things happening in our life. So how would you be able to read those fine lines that are to be read? Okay. Next part is being regressed. Regressed means I have seen students who actually read a passage four times just to understand what it means. Forget about critical reasoning. They are just trying to understand what it means. They are trying to put it in their mind that how do I go about, what is this passage telling me, right? So, and the last part is overthinking. Now, this is something like, sorry, no matter how much we try, we would always overthink, right? But you must remember, the clarity of thought has to be there, and that will only come across when you keep on practicing, right? Because with practice, you'll understand what to think and how much to think, right? Because if I leave you like this, so there are, a statement might have umpteenth number of assumptions, right? But definitely we cannot have so many thought process. We have to have a very focused thought process. Only then we can give a perfect answer. Next part is our assumptions. So what you assume is you already know. So at times it's quite illogical, right? You live in suppositions. Suppose if this happens, then that would happen, and that gone. And finally, self-contradictory. There are students who would read this point, they would feel, yes, this is right answer, and then you would say, but it does not go about with this point, and then it's not working, and that it's not working, your whole mindset has become what? Blurred. Everything blurs out, and you really don't know what is going to happen, right? Next part is our interpretation. We misinterpret plenty of time. It is because of the vocabulary, fine, and we just try to grasp here and there, and we just make a thought process of the passage as per our ideas, right? Not as per what was happening out there. Okay. And of course, my favorite one, everyone's favorite one, what is that? This looks good. Yeah, this actually happens, right? So keeping all this in mind, I'm out here at iQuanta, and my team out here will definitely help you to get past these kind of troubles, these kind of hindrances, and definitely you would be able to crack your dreams. All the best. Let's meet again for some new hacks about critical reasoning and so on. Thank you very much.